Since the last video was fun, I sought out to do another one, but as you can imagine, there weren't any other images like it that fit in the niche. So we made one ourselves, or rather, I asked my friend to, and he gave me a list. I made the room design, he filled in the seats with names, and I made it pretty. Let's set the scene. I am picking my seat at the Hellfiregala, the high-class mutant event of the year. The gala shows off the best of mutant kind's power and culture, but also serves as a place to shake hands and negotiate with those that have an interest in working with Krakoa and its allies. Now, how I got a seat in this room of very important people remains unclear, but it makes about as much sense as the last prompt, so we can set that aside for the moment. Here are our guidelines for the evening. Like last time, these are the Marvel Rivals renditions of the characters, with heavy influence from the comics. You'll notice that some have dressed up in their event-based skins, with some surprises as well. Any seat that I don't end up choosing will be filled with someone else. Also, like last time, I retain my meta knowledge of Marvel stuff going into the event, so I'll remain careful about that. But here are the new big things. Unlike last time, where my purpose was basically just to survive the flight without something going wrong, I'm attending the Hellfire Gala with a goal. As will be commonplace for the night, I'm aiming to get friends, get allies, and basically network. Now, keeping the peace and surviving unharmed are also very important, but now there's an added mission. Also, the big difference between the gala and the plane flight is that I won't be stuck in one position the whole night. For better or worse, and probably worse, I'll have the opportunity to engage and move around. This seating is for the dinner, which is only one aspect of the gala. But keep in mind, the table I'm at will put me with the people I'll have to spend a majority of my time with. With the framework set, let's dig in. Easiest seat to cross off right away is number 6. There's no need to be adjacent to Avengers villains. Ultron may have been reprogrammed to be an ally, but he still talks like a robo-supremacist all the time. And while Loki's presidential fit implies he's campaigning for something, which means he's at least going to present himself as behaving, those two opposite each other can only be a bad thing. Now, I'm not sure what Hawkeye did to deserve a seat at that table. Best case scenario is that he's been put there to effectively babysit the troublemakers. Worst case scenario is that he's another villain in disguise thanks to Loki's magic. No thank you. The next most obvious seat to get rid of is number 10, a table full of 2099 Doom bots. Probably. There's a chance that one of them actually is Doom, which is worse. If I'm being honest with myself, sitting around 3 entities that look exactly like Doom is terrifying. My back is to the wall and there's no heroes as close to me as any of the Dooms are. Hard pass. Next, we can knock out seats 2 and 4 on the main table. Although I had issues with telepathy in the previous scenario, with multiple parts of the night having people up and about, I'm almost certainly getting my mind read at some point during the night. So, being at the table with Emma Frost isn't as big of a deal this time. That's not the issue. The issue is that this table is full of mega power players that are not likely to get along for the entire meal. Almost everyone here holds some sort of station of importance. Emma Frost is a member of the Quiet Council of Krakoa. Namor is the king of Atlantis. Captain America is a symbol of his country, and while we don't usually associate him as holding a position in government, according to the 616 wiki, he is classified as a federal official. Hela is the Asgardian goddess of death, queen of hell, and one of the many terrifying Hell Lords. Rivals Scarlet Witch is the sorceress supreme of her dimension. Mr. Fantastic, while not holding a station, is the head of the Fantastic Four, and a likely expert for the dimensional nonsense that the game's plot revolves around. And Wolverine is there, probably just to keep tabs on everyone else. That actually makes a lot of sense with his patch getup. Look, I know what I said, I'm here to make connections with important people. But I think you're greatly overestimating your own charisma and importance if you think you can make much progress at this table. These people have known each other, or at least the multiversal alters of each other, for a long, long time. Their intertwined history is a mess, and they all want very different things. I think I'm much more likely to come away from this table with an enemy than a friend. Let me just run down the line of how messy this table could get. Namor is constantly after Reed Richards' wife. When that fails, and it always does, Namor's also been shown to pursue Emma Frost due to her similar physical qualities to Sue Richards.
Even the ocean at sunrise does not glimmer as bright as you, Emma.
Flattery will get you everywhere, my dear.
Of all the land dwellers, you are only surpassed in beauty by Susan Richards.
You should have stopped while you were ahead, Namor.
Namor fought alongside Captain America in World War II in the super team The Invaders. but they have often been at odds since Namor went back to his Atlantean supremacist ways.
I seem to recall that you used to be on our side. Or did your days as an invader mean nothing to you?
Times change, but one thing never has. The only side that Namor has ever been on is his own.
Emma Frost holds a heavy grudge against Scarlet Witch since her reality's version of Wanda had her No More Mutants moment.
I don't need telepathy to know what you're thinking, Emma.
Oh? Am I that obvious?
You hate me because your version of me almost decimated the mutant population.
And to top it all off, Hela benefits if anyone and or everyone there dies. So count me out. Seats 2 and 4 sound like nightmares. Let's move on. Seat number 7 is going to be a problem too. Sitting across from Adam Warlock is great, but there's a problem both at your left and right. You're sitting down for a meal, and between the walking shark and the symbiotic monster, that's a lot of hungry teeth. Jeff is often characterized as a mischievous creature, so there's a good chance he'll eat your food. I do question why Jeff is even at a table, but I'll accept it. And while Venom might not take my dinner, there's a high likelihood he'll talk about eating me. Will he follow through? Probably not. But still, it's a consistent theme through his dialogue.
Such a sweet little morsel.
In a big crunchy shell. Try to take a bite out of Spider and you'll chip a fang.
We do not wish to consume you, child. At least for now.
I don't want to deal with that. The next one we can knock out is seat 5 at the Spider-Man table. For the unfamiliar, we have our standard Peter Parker Spider-Man and 2 of his clones, Ben Reilly and Kane Parker. Now, both clones have gone by the name Scarlet Spider, but as of the costumes worn here, only Kane is currently going by that title. Ben, on the other hand, is using the Chasm costume, reflecting a villainous turn he's taken in recent comics. Now, in Ben's defense, he does eventually abandon his quest for vengeance, but I doubt the other 2 spiders are on great terms with him. And if it's one thing that spider people attract, it's unnecessary personal drama. So I will gladly steer clear of seat 5. So here are my final 4, and I think now's the best time to look at what the remaining Marvel characters have on offer when it comes to my networking goal. On table 1, Magneto has also sat on Krakoa's Quiet Council, and despite his villainous past, Krakoa's rise meant the union of mutants on all sides. However, his mutant supremacy stayed intact, so we're highly unlikely to make any progress when talking to him. As Sorcerer Supreme of Rival's present-day reality, Doctor Strange is sort of a figurehead amongst Mage Society on Earth. Also, it's unclear what ties Moon Knight has in his reality outside of his obligations to Khonshu, but that's not an entity I want to interact with at all. On table 3, Punisher doesn't really have any meaningful ties you could benefit from, but even if he did, I doubt he'd be great to talk to. Rocket Raccoon's biggest boon is his own mind. Sure, he's not associated with a big business or a governing body, but it could be really useful to know someone that's an expert in sci-fi technology. It also helps that he's willing to do a wide range of things, legitimate or criminal, for the right price. That's a helpful guy to know. Outside of superheroes, Luna Snow's claim to fame is in the music industry, and I can see that being a very attractive pursuit for many of you figuring out your own answers to this Krakoan scenario. For me, it's not a terrible connection to have, but it doesn't interest me. On table 8, Black Widow. By her nature, I really don't think I'll get anything from her. Being a super spy, I'm sure she's an expert at redirecting conversation away from anything helpful to me. The Thing doesn't really have any associated groups outside of the Fantastic Four, but I don't want to dismiss that. That is a legendary group of people to be friendly with, and Ben Grimm is the most personable of the 4. Even if talking doesn't go anywhere, it'll at least be a good time. And out of all the international figureheads at the event, Black Panther, while hardly relatable, seems as if he'd be one of the most likely to have any sort of respect for me. But that respect will probably fade if he senses me trying to get something out of T'Challa or Wakanda. Still, a very good person to be friendly with. Finally, on table 9, Penny Parker. Her dialogue indicates that she's a part of 2099's Parker Industries, and it is they who are responsible for Spider's construction. Also through her interactions, she appears to be a bright and open conversationalist, so that'll be easier than most potential talks. An easy friend who's the main representative of a futuristic technology manufacturing company sounds like a good deal. Thor, the God of Thunder and Prince of Asgard, is a challenge. I'm not sure how you strike a deal with a confident god, but even putting that aside, if I haven't mixed up the lore, I'm pretty sure that Loki is still king of his reality's Asgard after he usurped Odin. So his current Asgardian connections are probably quite limited in comparison to many other Thors you'd be familiar with. And the last person to touch on is Human Torch. He's basically got the same connections as Ben Grimm, but would be slightly more difficult to work with because you may have to contend with his ego. So, with our final 4 seats analysed, I need to make a decision. Between Magneto's views on non-mutants and Moon Knight's mental health, it can't be seat 1. I think there's a good chance that Rocket and Punisher just talk weapons all night, which leaves me with Luna. That isn't bad at all, but we can do better. That leaves us with table 8 and 9. I think Human Torch and the Thing basically cancel each other out. Black Widow would be fine company, but not productive. Thor and Black Panther are both royals that would be strong yet kind, but still tough to negotiate with. But really, I think Penny's personal attitude and ties to 2099's Parker Industries seal the deal. Can number 8 and Gibby number 9. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate all the engagement on the previous video. I'm not sure if I'll do another, because that requires thinking up another scenario that wouldn't create repetitive character dynamics, so if you want more and you've got a good idea, go to the comment section. Bye bye.